Inspired by Zarvan the Loot Goblin, who does similar series for Diablo 2, and by Zizran, who is embarked on a gold-bound journey, I set out to do a challenge run of my own, ground-bound in SSF. Let me explain. And if you enjoy SSF shenanigans, consider subscribing. Here are the rules. Basically, I can use anything that drops or happens in a map, and I will allow myself to do the fourth lab, plus of course bosses that must be done outside of maps, if I even get there. Any crafting I can do just using my stash or my own inventory is allowed, so for example an anoint, or crafting with regular currency, or using essences. What is not allowed is any crafting that requires external resources like the crafting bench or the horticrafting bench or the recombinator. Next to that, I am not allowed to use any league mechanic that takes place outside of maps, so Heist, Delve, King's March, etc. Finally, I can only use the vendors for identification, quest rewards and divination cards. I can't buy or sell from them, which includes vendor recipes. That's it. I'm playing SSF, I always play SSF, so I won't be trading either, in case you're wondering.
Why do the king of mind seek to satiate their curiosity and darkness and depravity?
I start by creating a character. I need something versatile, so it's gonna be a witch, ground-bound. I get Fireball, kill Hillock, pick up items, get Rolling Magma as a quest reward, that is allowed, but I can't otherwise sell my stuff, so I just drop what I'm not going to use and put 2 ones in the offhand, just in case. I get a hat and some gauntlets, I drop an Orb of Alchemy. These will be a big part of the progression, I think. I'm not using it yet though, and another big part of progression will be Mirage. I pick rare body armors. This is pretty rough in the first zone, but I drop another alchemy orb, kill Fury, drop several currency items, pick up Greaves. I ultimately managed to clear the Mirage with just Rolling Magma, no links, get 2 rare body armors and they're both evasion. Here is an amulet, 2 more currency pieces, here is Fury again. I might as well kill these bosses as they may drop something useful, and indeed, a sniper's mark. Apart from quest rewards, I can only get skill and support gems like this. It's time to identify one of the body armors and equip it. I do the same for the boots, use a chance orb on another pair, this is an upgrade, and a little later I have half the mud flats chasing me. I survived though, this is very unlike me. Those exiles can be nasty, but they do drop a ton of loot. I identified gloves and equipped those, plus the sniper's mark, and the passive tree is going to be another challenge. I won't be able to spend gold, so I better make some generically decent choices. In the Mirage, the exile has returned, dropping again his entire inventory. I clear the Mirage and get rewarded with a helmet. Not super useful though. I get and automatically equip a ring from a chest. Heal rate goes down. I equip a caster shield, drop another orb of alchemy. I get a quicksilver flask from Nessa, plus elemental proliferation. I get flame wall and frostblade from Tarkly as well. The identify option isn't available yet. It is only there at the end of Act 1, meaning I still have to use wisdom scrolls. I get a 10% movement speed boost, that's great. I'm equipping that. Plus a chain belt, I use an alchemy orb and a helmet and I equip that. Link rolling magma to elemental proliferation. Also use an alchemy orb on the shield. It's a pretty decent outcome. The helmet just isn't useful. I get another ring, only 2 wisdom scrolls left, and as I can't sell stuff, I just destroy it in the town instead. Here is an essence. I expect these to play a pretty significant role as well, depending on how far I get. In the campaign, they function like an alchemy orb, for me at least. The crab dies, there is a new exit here. I'm still gonna do the Mirage though. I drop a Molten Strike gem, wish for gloves. Here is that essence again. It takes a while, but it's worth it, I think. And here are my rare gloves. I'll be identifying everything in town. Let's take the new exit for now. The passive tree is generic spell damage, and I'm pathing towards life and mana. Here is a new life flask. I check my inventory. The gloves are bad. The belt is an upgrade. Those 2 bows are of course useless. I find my first 3 link and another. I don't have green or red support gems though. I get my first amulet plus an alteration orb. I keep wishing for rare gear in the Mirage, make my way to the change and clear the area of monsters. Drop a quicksilver flask and yeah, I'm basically full clearing these zones. Realizing already at this point that this is pretty much my only source for items in the campaign. I'm not going to show you this every time, but whenever I have a full inventory, it is time to sort and craft. I'm thinking about which currencies to use on what. Transmutes on flasks seems reasonable, plus augments and alterations. I can get rid of items that I will never use, like an iron ring and molten strike. Essences are great to just try to get easy upgrades, like this amulet. Chance orbs I will try to use on items that can high roll a unique, such as this leather cap. it could turn into a gold rim. The same is true for other jewelry and chance orbs. I identify other pieces, and if I don't see a use, I will just throw it away. Resistances will be important as I can't benchcraft, so this helmet goes in. I use another essence on the 3-link, try to hit 3 blues but fail, but still equip it. The journey continues with this new wand. I'm having some intense fights in these mirages as I'm still on a 2-link. I'm tanky, I have actually great gear, but no skill or support gems. The rewards are worth it though, currency usually and rare gear. I feel that maybe doing the Legion is also a good idea. It is just a bunch more gear and of course experience. I'm overleveling already by a few levels. It's worth it though. I drop a 3-linked all blue wand, another flask, more currency, an essence, and it's time to have a look. I get a +1 fire skill shield, that's not bad. I use an alchemy orb on the wand and link rolling magma to elemental proliferation and arcane surge. A corrupted blood immunity flask is very useful, a ring with resistances, and that is it. Gear looks incredibly solid for a character that just enters the prison. I get a normal jade amulet, find the secret area with flasks, but I already have 3 quicksilvers. I drop some unholy relic. You do get the occasional skill gem from the monsters. It's not as bad as I thought, but I won't be showing every single one, only the ones that I will actually use. I wish for a unique weapon, and it is a great one, Ash Collar. That is massive. Right next to it drops a 3-linked blue helm, so I can equip that, transfer the gem setup and equip the Ash Collar. That is a lot of flat damage to spells in Act 1, plus Raging Spirits, my favorite. Here is Brutus, this is just hilarious. I don't think I've ever killed this guy this fast on a fresh start. I get another reward, decide to stick with fire with all the recent loot, and I take combustion. As I don't have any auras and can't buy them, I'll just take clarity as well. I need to be careful not to level it up too much, however. During the inventory management session, I get a new dexterity amulet by using an essence, a new chain belt, and the sapphire ring. I find the pirate's treasure, but it's not much of a treasure, and I drop the animate weapon skill gem. I path to elemental overload, I adjust the loot filter so it shows weapons that I can reanimate, and the fight with Merville starts with me, 3 animated weapons, and the occasional raging spirit. She gets completely fried thanks to Ash Collar, and I'm having a blast already with this challenge run. We'll see how long that's going to last, however. The inventory management continues in Act 2 with applying currency to normal items hoping for upgrades. This amulet has at least potentials and decent attributes. I will hold on to the 3-linked blue chest as well. You can also see how much is irrelevant as that is all on the ground. In the den, a big upgrade, combustion support, the second one. For now, I'm slotting that in the wand. I'm pretty sure the summoned raging spirits will actually use it. I wish for chromatic orbs. I will take any wish that offers currency. It is only 3 of them, but still. I also have the least strict loot filter from never seeing possible, in the hopes nothing is hidden. In the Chamber of Sins, I walk into the gem room, possibly huge. I pick up most of them, but I will only use a few. Devour, Arcane Surge, and Volley. You will see those later. What is fun about this challenge is that you will try out support gems you would never use otherwise, with the idea that something is better than nothing, like Devour. Val side areas are another great source of skill gems, Val Ice Nova and Val Animate Weapon in this case. I suppose it's an upgrade to my current Animate Weapon. I get a quest reward and take Arctic Armor, at least, as I like being freeze immune. From Yena, I take a heavy belt, I get new boots with very decent stats, and I use a chance orb on a power ring, not a bad outcome. I will equip it. In the Felshrine Ruins, I interact with the 3 statues, wish for a unique armor, but it is a shield, it's not very useful. You get this chick to appear after the statues, that's pretty cool. Here's a peek at the passive tree, keeping it rather generic. I use the jewelry secret in the broken bridge, these are potential upgrades. I enter another Val side area, get Val Detonate Dead, it's not very useful. I get more quest rewards, support gems, it's quite valuable, and I decide on concentrated effects, so I link Rolling Magma to Conk Effect and Combustion. In Act 1, I missed a quest or 2 it seems, so I get another reward, and I just take Arc as I like that skill. The Corruption Altar in the Val Ruins doesn't yield anything. I drop Summon Skitterbots, that is a very nice aura, it's good for a lot of builds, so I equip it. I decide to do the ritual, maybe I'll get something worthwhile. This is an in-map event, so it is allowed, and yeah, that is tough luck. It offers a Ghost Wraith, but I'm short on tribute by like 30 or so. Sag. I decide to help Alira for the 15% resistances. I think that is going to be very helpful, as it'll be a challenge to get resistance capped. Here is the Val Animate Weapon in action. It is super random, but it works, and there are links to combustion and added fire support for, reasons. I managed to kill the Oversoul, which marks the end of Act 2. In Act 3, I identify a new helm, blue-blue-green, which means I can use volley support, meaning I link that to rolling magma and concentrated effect. It makes the skill look like this. It's not bad. It doesn't shotgun, I think, but covers quite a decent area for clear. I get a new heavy belt, and after coloring I have these new gloves with just slightly better modifiers. I do Blight in a Mirage and also in the regular map, just collecting some oils. I wish for currency and get what I wish for. I get Purity of Elements from a quest reward. This is going to help out a lot, and to give you a bit of an idea of the gameplay so far, here is my fight with Gravicious. When I'm able, I still summon animated weapons too, but not in this fight. Damage is decent, survivability too. I am actually pretty happy so far. Piety dies without too many issues. I take Firestorm as a reward. I get a new amulet and a new 2-stone ring. These are all just identified ground loot items, by the way, and I will make some attempts here and there to also try out other skills. Rolling magma is a very solid skill, and I need a very solid skill, but at least I will try some other stuff too, like Firestorm linked to combustion and concentrated effect for now. And that would look like this. I don't hate it, but the rolling magma feels just so much better as it covers so much more terrain with the triple hops. I'm doing the library quest as that rewards me with support gem, and after some contemplation I decide to go for something I've never used, Pinpoint. I pick up the plum for more quest rewards and I get a ring. I craft myself a new flask, but more importantly I have found my first 4-link, this iron mask. I color it 3 blues and a green. I have support gems for that, kind of. I link rolling magma to volley, combustion and elemental prolift. I use an essence on the helmet. This is not too bad. I get 20% quality and there we go. And then it is time for some Dominus gameplay, where you can witness the true power of my build. Hopping, flaming balls, a few randomly animated weapons, and quite a tanky build overall. This is actually going very well, and Dominus goes down.
No one will cry for you, Dominus.
I drop ethereal knives from a Mirage, a superior version even, it could be big. 4 links start dropping consistently now as our currency explosions. I keep picking up white gear for chance orbs, keep entering Val side areas to expand my skill gem collection. I'm getting lucky here with Val Haste and Val Fireball, both potent. I stopped using animate weapon. I'm not scaling any minion related stuff. I drop Ice Bite support. I chance that ring that I got. It's not a bad outcome because I need attributes. I do another campaign Legion event. It drops a unique unset ring, but it's not very usable for me, at least right now. I get multiple orbs of binding from Mirage, helpful for a few more 4-links, but I realize the filter isn't showing white gear. I create these 4-linked boots, it's not bad, and I tried changing the filter to show white gear, but yeah, this is a bit much as well. I'll have to do some loot filter tinkering later on, I guess in the chance orb section. I'm trying to slot in haste, which reserves a lot of mana. Create another 4-link, I do slot in the extra support gem that I have into the wand, with the idea that the SRS that I occasionally summon start using this. It is a bit far-fetched, but it should work. I craft an enduring mana flask, throw away the old ones. From Act 4 forward, there is a bit less happening in terms of rewards. I now have had most of my gem rewards, unfortunately, but the lab is still there. I get some big loot from a lab chest. I have a healthy life pool and a skill that covers a large area, so Isaro goes down without too many issues. I will get myself a transfigured gem, of course, hoping to get something useful. I will take the lightning golem of hordes. With their aura it seems like an okay match. And then it is a pretty hard choice. I think in most cases you would take Elementalist, and I will as well. It seems like the most versatile class. For the nodes though, I think the obvious choice would be golems, but I don't have golems except for the one I just got. And so I end up taking Shaper of Storms instead, so I shock and deal more damage. I link some random support gems to the golems, like Combustion and Added Fire, which will be pretty useless but still. At least I know I have a bit of company, and the aura they provide means some flat lightning spell damage. It is better than nothing. Small steps with this challenge, that's very important to remind myself of. I get rid of Skitterbots with me shocking and all, and enable haste, reserving a bit too much mana though. I get a bit of reservation on the tree to solve that, drop a flame golem a few zones later, because after I decide to not go with the golem ascendancy, I start dropping golems of course. I will equip it though, it is a bit of damage. They won't survive very long, however, while I drop my first amethyst ring. I reach level 43, 6 levels above the zone, to give a bit of an indication how much content I am doing to get gear. I create a decent chest piece also with Chaos Res, but decide against it. I use Chance Orbs on leather belts, of course. It's a huge roll, life and Chaos Res. I put my only Regal on it, 20% lightning res. That is an amazing item. That's a huge upgrade. I scour the Amethyst ring, apply an essence, create this thing, which is bad. Let's try again. Well, this time it's at least some attributes, which I am also in need of, so I'll take it. In the belly of the beast, I drop a Jade Flask, find myself the secret area for a Val Gem Spectral Throw. I get my first Divination card, and this run makes me appreciate these cards a lot. And the whole thing ends with Malachi, a slow, solid and methodical fight. This means some rewards for support gems I take Spell Echo, and for a skill gem I can't resist a good Golem. Lightning Golem, the regular one, it should fix most of my mana issues, so that's gonna be the one. The next Mirage offers a unique weapon that's always exciting, and it's the Lightning Warp Tomahawk. It's just what I needed. I put the Spell Echo on the golems, which doesn't seem to do much, apart from me summoning two at the same time. I keep cutting most of the inventory and crafting I do from the video, as most of it results in nothing, but it is good to realize that I do everything I can to keep getting upgrades and craft myself gear. I have a near-death experience in the Temple Courts. I haven't died yet so far. I identified 20% movement speed boots and I equipped those. In the Reliquary, I keep opening chests, searching for 2 keys. Here is one, and there's the second, and this unlocks the vault at the start. There's not much there though. Here's a glimpse at my passive tree so far. I kept it generic with a slight focus on some fire damage nodes to allow for somewhat easy respecs later. And then it is time for the big boss, Kitava. With Rolling Magma still going strong on a 4-link, and with me having a decent life pool and a bit of energy shield, this fight isn't difficult at all. So far the challenge is easier than I expected. It's time consuming, sure, but also exciting when you drop a unique or identify a good rare or even find a few div cards. The biggest challenges are attributes and resistances, but after the penalty I'm still very close to res capped. There's just no easy fixes like horticrafting or bench crafts. I craft myself a new flask, meet Aelith and grow myself a new arm, pick up an elemental focus from the ground, keep picking up currency from the Mirage. I drop an Anger Aura gem in the Curwy Fortress, it's quite useful, some flat fire damage. Here's a quick peek at the passives. I'm keeping it generic, knowing I can't realistically respec anytime soon, maybe ever. The same zone offers a tattoo, but it's a pretty bad one. I like that they added this to the campaign though, these are fun little events. I drop a Punishment Curse, which will be my curse for now. It is the only decent one that I have. I drop a 4-link, it's not too bad, and a little later, in a Valside area, I reach level 53, plus I die basically immediately afterwards. This is my first death of the run. In the Delirium and Abyss, I drop a Herald of Ash. It could be okay, and both events drop a bunch of gear too. I do more inventory management, this Crusader Chainmail is not bad, a 4-link. I also have an idea to maybe start using some cluster jewels. Here is some Eber damage, I think this is very acceptable actually. I discover a Gem Cutter Strongbox. In theory that is super valuable, it's just that these gems aren't particularly great. Back in town I get a new chest piece, lots of attributes, even though the base isn't great. I make myself these new gloves, also a small upgrade. I can slot in my main damage setup in them, so I can equip another upgrade that I made, this helmet. This leaves me to be resistance capped, it's very nice. Finally, I craft myself a few cluster jewels, but I realized a little bit late in the process that the item level of these is so low that they barely can roll anything, so I'm just wasting currency here. Either way, the idea is there, I'll just see if I ultimately want to pursue this, and of course, if I find the correct jewels. I drop a new shield with good block chance, lots of life, so that is a nice upgrade. I decide to execute on that cluster idea, so there it is. The Flash Cradle in Maligaro's Sanctum drops a rare ruby ring, Maligaro himself dies, a secret passage in the Trial gets me a quality support gem, I drop a Molten Shell, and back in town I slot in Molten Shell. I can automate that using a little numlock trick. I level up and slot in a small cluster jewel, which is just terrible honestly. Here is a little gameplay against Kruthkul, who drops a Tassalio ring, but I won't be using that. I will take the Pantheon though. There's another secret room in the Temple of Decay. This one gives corrupted gear, including a unique. This wasn't good for me though. I reached level 61, 7 levels higher than the zone that I'm in. And here is the Arcali fight, the end at least. It's still going relatively strong on a 4-link. We're starting Act 8 with another secret. This tunnel is pretty cool. It's useless though. It's basically a small heist. I get myself much better boots using a binding orb, equip a new energy shield chest piece while remaining res capped. I'm running haste, purity of elements and clarity at this point. I run another lab. Damage on Nizaro isn't crazy high, but it is doable. I get a transfigured gem, but none of the options are great. I just pick the mine, and then for the ascendancy, now that I have at least some golems, I will take the golem ascendancy. All the golem effects was removed from this node, but them reviving automatically, that is still very good. My cluster shenanigans are continuing, but it is such a bad idea that I stopped this endeavor. I better spend these points on the actual passive tree. This isn't a super costly mistake though, fortunately. I take the golem cluster to go with the ascendancy, and I take some more life as well. I encounter a 5-link wish, but of course it's a full armor piece, 6 red sockets. I attempt to color it, 3 blue, 2 red isn't even bad of course, but I just don't have any red support gems I can use, so this piece ended up being unusable unfortunately. Here you see my gem stash so far, these things barely drop. The next wish is a unique armor, but again not so lucky. And then it is time for a classic. Guess what happens in this zone? Indeed, a +1 scepters, not that I'm getting killed by porcupines or anything. Another secret area provides scouring orbs, that's not bad, it's actually useful. I drop a new body armor, I'll take it, and here is a unique that I can actually use, Sarash's Darkness. The chaos resistance on this thing is very useful. The green explosions are just a nice bonus. Here's a bit more gameplay just to keep you posted while I drop a cruelty support. It's at least usable on rolling magma, and here's a bit more but then on the celestial sisters who go down with the fight. So far so good, is what I keep telling myself. I try to color that 5-link, but it is a futile attempt of course. The Val side area drops Val Spark and Haste, and then I get an amazing drop at Tabula Rasa. I can equip it, defenses are okay still, but in terms of support gems, I really don't have much. I decide, for now, on Combustion, Pinpoint, Cruelty, Arcane Surge and Elemental Proliferation. That is pretty decent and should keep me going for a while. I craft myself a new Life Flask, Granite Flask and Jade Flask. After all this, the gameplay looks as follows. It's quite smooth. I get a Forbidden Rite of Soul Sacrifice from the secret room in the trial. Dodri goes down with some face tanking, and also the Depraved Trinity bites the dust. I drop a new amulet. This one has decent life. I gamble with 2 Exalt on these decent boots, hoping to hit movement speed, but I miss. I drop a Divine Orb, get a 5-link wish, and it is another bad one, Strength and Dex. I get an Onslaught Flask as a reward, craft it and slot it in. And it is time for the 3rd lab. My damage is okay, but not as good as you might expect, mostly due to gear. Nonetheless, Isaro goes down a 3rd time. I take Flame Surge of Combusting, plus the Chill node, with the logic being that I'll be igniting using Rolling Magma anyway. The next wish is a unique, Rim Sorrow. Not bad should I ever go with a physical spell, however it'll be rough to respec. Avarius dies, although again, this isn't as smooth as you may think with me having a 6-link and all. A little later I drop a Vitality gem and it is already time for Kitava, or well, already. This is page 8 of the script, that means around 25 minutes of runtime in the video, but you get the idea. It is a pretty smooth fight all in all. 3k alive, a bit of energy shield, decent damage, it's more than decent recovery, it's all in all quite nice. I check passives and I have all of them 23 points as I helped Alira. Here is a glimpse at the passive tree at the end of the campaign. I'm level 71. There's one issue though, the additional resistance penalty from Kitava has hit me pretty hard. I don't have the gear or currency at this point to solve that, so early maps may be rough. My plan for the Atlas is just to take 1 tier at a time. I can't see myself progressing all that fast with this rule set. I will keep focusing on generic offense and defense. I will try out concentrated effect support, and with this ring I saved from before I fixed resistances. It's quite nice, at least that is solved for now. I'm running these maps just with magic rarity by the way, it's gonna be difficult enough. I try out something else rather than rolling magma. This is that flame burst skill of before, but it's just worse. It's not a horrible skill, but it's not working right now, so it's back to rolling magma, which will be a recurring theme. I reach level 73 and drop 3 uniques, but they're all bad. I loot an amethyst ring, a very nice one, and now I just have to fix attributes, which I do using this amulet. A little later, I drop Eber's Unification, this could be useful later, and here's another 5-link wish, and again it sucks. Same map, I drop the same unique. Maybe the game is trying to tell me something. First though, I'm getting this circlet for more energy shield and some resistances. I reach level 75, find another helm with way more energy shield. It's a decent upgrade all in all. And here are new gloves, also pretty good. I craft myself a jewel, life and damage over time, not bad. A regal orb does not improve it unfortunately, and I get this great hypnotic eye jewel for a lot of flat spell damage. I will slot that in instead. I opt for a new shield, block chances are quite good after this. I get this div card, it's pretty rare and it's pretty useless from a stack deck. I get a 5 link from a Mirage, usable this time, and it is worth considering because of the stats. I feel the support gems that I have in a 6 link aren't all that impactful, so a 5 link on a decent chest may be the better choice. I use most of the available currency to me, land on a chest with pretty decent energy shield, I quality it and slot in the main skill except cruelty. I think it's a decent trade-off. I can always go back to the tabula rasa if I want to. I finally drop shield charge, allowing me a second movement skill. Now that I have some energy shield, I will invest in some energy shield passives. I drop a coin of knowledge, complete that energy shield cluster. I drop a summon stone golem, another golem for the collection, and a sigil of power, which I may use as well. A wish offers a unique map, which I get. I'm recoloring my gloves because I dropped a Guardian's Blessing and I want to try if I can get a free aura by constantly sacrificing my stone golems. So I link the blessing to stone golem and haste, and once you activate haste, the stone golem starts to die. So that doesn't really work because once he is alive again, the haste is not activated. Also with vitality, which I hope offsets the golem dying, it is not enough. However, I then realize I can summon 2 stone golems and then one stays alive while the other dies, keeping the aura up, which actually works in theory and in practice too, as long as nothing else happens to them. So in a vacuum, in my hideout, this is a free aura. However, the moment that you get into a map and meet a bunch of monsters, it all gets messed up and this rhythm isn't working anymore. I tried this for quite a few maps actually, but ultimately discard the idea. I slam myself a new amethyst ring, it's decent affixes, these attributes will come in handy, and it is time for the next experiment, intuitive link on a minion. You can take the minion mastery that damageable minions can be linked, and then use this spell, and then every time the minion attacks, I cast whatever spell is linked to intuitive link. Writing all that out, this is far from intuitive, but it works. Every time there is a molten shell or a curse, it is because of intuitive link. The main issue is, as you can tell I think, the link constantly falls off and then I have to reapply it, which sucks. I think this is a pretty fun idea if you have convocation or something, assuming the link then remains active, but without any of that it constantly breaks and is therefore useless. I drop a coin of power and a 22% quality life flask, perfect for wasting some currency. A ritual offers fire penetration support. I get my first divine vessel plus a chaos golem, raising chaos resistance significantly. Here is me attempting to craft that flask, very unsuccessfully. This is going to be a longer term project with my rules. Chances of hitting bleed immunity and a form of instant heal turns out to be rather slim. I drop these new unique boosts. If I'm at full energy shield, which happens often enough, I get 40% movement speed. And here's a new amulet with attributes and life. I get impending doom support and decide to just use it, why not? I keep using chance orbs on certain base items, but end up hitting nothing in the entire run. I get some more alteration orbs from div cards, try to continue on that flask, and finally I hit it. This will last me for the rest of the run. I drop a broader stash for 5 exalt, it's not bad at all. Here's my Atlas passive tree, going for some player power and blocking useless mechanics for me. I drop a Balefire, it's time to experiment. This thing provides a level 25 Scorching Ray, it looks like this. I'm really trying to do something else than rolling magma, but I can't respec the tree so it's hard. Still, I try. So I slot in a few support gems in that scepter and I mean it works, kinda. But I still have rolling magma on my 5 link, that's the chest piece, and it's just so much better. So yeah, it's back to purely rolling magma. A ritual offers offerings, so I take those. I drop a flammability curse gem, that's huge for my build of course. I craft this new jewel, not so bad. Do the lab, get Glacial Cascade of the Fissure, Trying to make that work maybe, but my tree can't be respec'd as I barely get Orbs of Regret. I get another Transfigured Gem and I take the Exposure node despite not inflicting exposure yet. Oba's Cursed Trove is a good map, lots of gems, a few decent ones. I upgrade and quality gear a bit and slam where possible. These slams aren't amazing, but it's better than nothing and I will take any upgrade I can get. I drop a cast when damage taken from a Legion and I link it to a level 1 Immortal Call and a Firestorm that I still had lying around, which works. Not that this Firestorm is doing any damage, but it looks cool and that is worth something as well. Now that I've managed to get enough resistances, I can equip the Eber's Unification, which also grants Void Gaze. It's kinda fun, it is a cone spell that triggers on spellcast, and it reduces chaos resistance of enemies by 20% if they get hit by the cone. The helm makes me do 8% of elemental damage as extra chaos damage, so I guess it is something. I mostly like it for the high energy shield values though. However, not long after, I get an even better helmet, almost 300 energy shield. I drop another Coin of Power. These are some very promising gloves. I'm doing my first Maven invitation, which is going well enough. I reach level 88, get a great jewel with lots of energy shield affixes from Ritual, take an energy shield mastery preventing 30% of chaos damage from bypassing energy shield, and I equip that jewel. This is the state of the Atlas currently. I'm doing tier 9 or so maps, and this is how my average map looks. The thing I dislike the most about the run so far is not so much the loot or the busy work of checking all the rares from the ground, which I am mostly editing out, but I'm doing after every map. The most annoying is not being able to experiment much or try out something else because you simply lack the currency to respec. I didn't go into this challenge with a build idea, which was a mistake as it turns out, so I'm basically not only bound to ground loot, but I'm also bound to rolling magma. Even trying to spec into Ignite currently isn't really possible, for example, so it's just on hit rolling magma. It works and it may carry me all the way up to a Voidstone, but I'm getting a little fed up with the skill. I did try self-cast Glacial Cascade of the Fissures for a little bit, but I didn't have the tree for it, so this is all a fire damage tree and then the skill is just bad in comparison. It's a fun skill though, I mean even if you self-cast it, it's pretty cool, but yeah, not viable for a run like this. I'm getting a few oils from a Blight. I don't have any annoyance at the moment. I replace an Amethyst ring for one with way more life. I drop a Stygian Vice, Chaos spam it without results, and then Old spam it to hit life and Chaos res, which is great. All the other mods are trash, but that doesn't matter. I can finally get rid of my Sarash's belt. Plus, get the Abyss jewel that is currently in my passive tree into the belt and get a new jewel in the passive tree. This one that I just casually craft is pretty good, given the constraints of this challenge. I drop another Divine and the Profane Proxy. I start using some Eldritch currency and manage to hit fire exposure, so my Ascendancy node actually does something. I get a Silver Oil from another Blight. I do an attempt to automate my flasks, but the enchantments are pretty scuffed, as you can imagine. I can't benchcraft these, of course. I drop a Fire Penetration support and the wrong 2-stone unique ring. Here's my Atlas tree, and I'm going for a bit of Chaos Res on there just to get Chaos Res capped as well. I drop another Coin of Power. This is how I craft Red Corrupted maps to get the bonus, but not end up with impossible maps for my build. I drop a replica Dragon Fang, it could be fun, never lucky though, body swap of all possibilities. However, I have Divine Orbs and a Dream. First hit, Absolution, is not bad under other circumstances. Vulnerability is next, and Defiance is last. Shame. I get a Rise of the Phoenix from div cards, do a quick check if I can perhaps sustain Righteous Fire with this thing, but as you can tell, that experiment is not a success, just like basically any other experiments I've conducted so far. I am quickly fixing some Pantheons with the 2 Divine Vessels I have. At least I'm getting Burning Ground immunity as I started running Red Altars. Similarly, I do Glaze for another small bonus. I'm linking Culling Strike to the Shield Charge and Frostblink just in case, it will come in handy later I'm sure. I create a new body armor hoping to ultimately 6-link that. I have at least some currency, I might as well give it a go. Getting 6 sockets isn't too difficult, but 6 links is not a matter of course. I ultimately settle on a 5-link, as this 5-link would be better than the one that I have currently equipped. I Chaos Craft a new amulet, is a pretty decent outcome. Anoint Elemental Focus on there for ailment effect and elemental damage. A Red Altar offers a decent number of Regret Orbs, but it is too late to start using Regrets at this point, ironically. I drop an Immolate support, which could be useful. Enemies will be burning, usually. Here is a tier 15 map boss, a nasty one, but I manage it. It's not so bad. it's time for the final upgrades, starting with the Coin of Knowledge. I don't have a backup to my gem, but what is the worst that could happen? Well, this, pretty much. Yeah, it's not so great. I guess we're changing skills then, because this is completely unusable. The best I have is a Vile Fireball and that's it. This clearly isn't helping in a run. Having to revert back to Fireball is a significant damage decrease, as you can tell by this boss. I drop a Black Barrier, but I won't be trying that boss. I will have to attempt some bosses though. I want to get at least one Voidstone, and then I am likely calling it a day after this coin disaster. That means it's time for the Hunger Boy, and yeah, damage is pretty much non-existent. This can be done, of course. On the plus side, I am quite tanky. It's just going to take quite a bit of time. After 3 minutes, however, he dies. Stargirl, pretty much the same story. Very low damage, although she is easier to hit. There is more uptime. So that means that only after 1.5 minutes the fight is over and I'm halfway to my first and likely only Voidstone. When crafting on the gloves, I hit the Ignite Proliferation Eldritch Implicit, which is quite nice. For mapping at least. It won't do much for bosses, of course. I get somewhat okay helmet implicits. I'm just trying to get the final gear pieces in order. I loot another coin of skill, reach level 92, the max level I will be getting this run, and then I decide to just run a few normal red maps to get the quests done for Eber and Exarch, the first invitation I get from the Spider Queen. I decide to equip the Tabula Rasa again. I would rather be squishy and have more damage than vice versa. I slot in a fire penetration support, it should be okay for bosses. I really don't have much else that's good or decent. Here is the first pinnacle boss, the Searing Exarch. This fight you guys know by now, it is in most of my videos and I'm assuming most of you managed to get the occasional Voidstone yourself. I think what is quite noticeable is the damage, or the lack thereof. Having to swap main skill last minute because I bricked the Rolling Magma definitely isn't great, which I kinda knew going into this boss battle. Still, this is pretty horrendous, more horrendous than I thought it would be, let's be honest. But hey, I might as well talk a bit about the challenge then, as we are nearing the end. While I got further than I expected, to be honest, it is also not as fun as I thought it would be. It is a little bit too restrictive for my taste, this challenge run. With gold, so talking about the challenge run that Ziz is currently doing, you get plenty of upgrades, and it is also smart loot, so the upgrades typically are quite good and the mods are rolled quite well. That is true for King's March as well. On average you get way better gear from a King's March both than you drop on the ground. Gold itself is restrictive, sure, but once you spend it, the odds of getting decent gear are quite high. Also, he allows himself to sell the gear and get regular currency that way. With the Groundbound challenge I made for myself, there is no smart loot at all, and not being able to buy skill gems turns out to be incredibly punishing and not very fun. Ground loot did get buffed this patch, and it did, but you know, once you are entirely reliant on it, then it just becomes a bit of a different story. To unlock the Eber, I run more normal red maps, so effectively that means that Oak in Mesa isn't having a particularly good time. But I'm just doing that to him so there is someone else on the screen who is also miserable. And this means that it is time for the next boss, the Eater of Worlds. It'll be the last boss too. This isn't as bad as Exarch, I have a bit more uptime and enough recovery to sustain all of the damage. I can even face tank the Hunger AoE attacks, that's not bad actually. All in all, it will take me 1 minute less than the Searing Exarch, and it yields me my prime achievement this run. Going from a fresh SSF League start to a single Voidstone using only ground loot. Let me finish with a few statistics. The total playtime is 33 hours. Monsters killed 185,000 and only 34 deaths. That's not bad at all. I hope you had a fun time watching this. I've already started a new challenge, a much more fun one, at least for me to be honest. That'll take a bit of time to make like this one, but if you're interested in these, let me know in the comments, subscribe to the channel, and thanks for watching and making it to the end. Love you all, see you soon, bye bye.